Hey guys, welcome to another dual commentary. Caller alongside me on Game 4, the losers match between Xellos and unfortunately Daezang. And either one of these players, I'm going to be sad when they exit. I really like both these guys. I really want to see both of them advanced. Just not going to end up happening. Daezang starting the upper right-hand corner in teal, upper left-hand corner we have Xellos. And yeah, it's just gonna. I really want both of them to win somehow. Too bad you can't have just a tie on default or whatnot. Anyway, on this map, it should be pretty interesting. I think Xellos tends to do better, as we talked about earlier, on kind of more micro-intensive maps. Daezang, though, he's been basically all Reavers this entire time, kind of reminiscent of the Rock, but a little less suicidal, and a little less kind of, I don't know, wild. He's crafty. He's not completely nuts, let me put it that way. He actually has, as Bulltrap would say, he's actually good. But it should be an interesting match to watch here.
Yeah, I agree. Although I do feel that if he continues to do Reavers, if he does Reavers one more time, say this game, his strategy would be quite exploitable in the future because Terran players can just assume what will happen. But we'll see what if Xellos sort of counts on him going Reavers and perhaps tries to do some kind of fast two-factory push here. And I wouldn't be surprised with that coming from Xellos. Xellos being sort of a more old-school player might decide to go for a one-base strategy, although it is quite tempting, on the other hand, to get one of your natural expansions on this map. It would seem to be the natural thing to do. But if Daezang is going to be going Reavers no matter what off of one base, then a really fast push with one of those like a two-factory Vulture tank Marine push could be quite successful also. Or also even fast expanding, but just covering yourself a little better with turrets, of course, could also work out just as well. And we're seeing a gateway here being made for Daezang inside his base, barracks being inside of Xellos' base. Are sort of standard openings right now, and Daezang's got a probe going in the clockwise direction, so he's probably going to spot Xellos last. And we're seeing some people with signs over their faces, and I'll be expecting, actually, my bet right now, just from a hunch, is that Xellos is going to be going for some sort of one-base strategy, or at least something interesting. What do you think about that? That's just my hunch right now.
That is an awesome picture right there.
That is a sweet picture.
I love that. I don't put it past him, but I think if he was going for that if he was going for one base build, I think he would have sent out a scout a little bit earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if Daezang actually, because honestly, you don't want a Terran player to get rolling, really. Yeah, you are perfect. Yeah. Something I can read in English. Crazy anime eyes. Kind of creepy picture, though. Anyway, but I wouldn't put it past Xellos, but I think he would have sent out a scout a little bit earlier. I could be off on that. Interestingly enough, he's not blocking off his ramp either. So maybe I'm just completely... I guess that's kind of the artifact if you don't want to block your ramp because you need to make sure reinforcements come off. And you're having such a large... basically, because you have so many... it's a 4-player map, you don't have to worry about sealing it in as much. So ignore my entire comment about sealing yourself in last match. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And as you can see, we'll see if he lifts off this barracks in a second. If he decides to build maybe a few Marines, maybe he's going to go for a two-factory push. But honestly, actually, I think a Marine tank push with quick siege would work just as well. Again, just because of the positioning, looks like a quick range from Jangbi.
Good point.
The question is can he get 2 tanks up to work kind of above the ramp? Really is also the additional question.
Yeah, it looks like this time at least Daezang's going to get his range upgrade for his Dragoons first. And he could be going for Reavers once again here. I wouldn't put it past him to do that. But it looks like actually a couple of Marines for Xellos coming out here, and he's getting his machine shop right now. So this could be a start to either fast expansion or for an early attack here after the first tank is out. And we're seeing the barracks is being lifted, though, and moved. Not sure what that building is up here. I still have a Dune going up for Daezang here. So Daezang perhaps going to do what Jangbi did last game and go for a fast DT push here. And this could be interesting against a fast tank and Marine push. He might be a bit vulnerable before the first DT pops out, though. And looks like something's being upgraded at the machine shop. Yeah, I do think that... Yeah, I'm just very interested. Both players are going for sort of one-base strategies so far, it looks like. Do you think these DTs are going to be pretty much effective against Xellos or not?
I honestly don't know, and the question is if Xellos does that fast expand or not. I think if he does opt to not go for that fast expand, he's going for that fast expand. So
he is going
this
for
could
fast
be effective.
Yeah,
he is going for the I kind of suspected that. Whatever, I won't get into it for the moment. Focus on the issue at hand. Dark Templar out. Looks like he's going to push up and put some pressure on Daezang anyway, just to make sure denies that scout. A couple things like that. That scout denied
that
it
was
just
close.
in time.
Yeah, that was essential.
That was really close. But anyway, he's going to have to put up some pressure with these Dragoons as well. Not putting down a second gateway, interestingly enough, so kind of curious by that maneuver as well, pushing up with Dragoons and that single gateway. But again, I think it comes down to mines and a Vulture alongside. This looks like a Gundam Rush from Xellos trying to fake as though as he's done a 2-factory push. There is the mines are upgraded for the Vultures, and I think that'll be kind of the end of Daezang's attack. I think Xellos will have coverage with those mines to work against these Dark Templars. So I don't think this Dark Templar push is going to be effective for him. And it looks like seeing those mines, seeing that Vulture, he's getting that additional secondary down. So not a complete waste of tech, obviously, because but it's not going to, as far as a quick push, it's not going to end up paying off for him.
Yeah, it looks like, is that a double expand there yeah, it is a double expand. Interesting, from Daezang. So perhaps he thinks he's going to use some of those DTs to perhaps slow down a push from Xellos. But it looks like the first DT is, yeah, sorry.
So it looks like what he's trying to do is trying to keep Xellos on the defensive. He was a little bit, I don't think he's falling for that initial push. Wow, sneaking right by that mine. That was brilliant psychic prediction there. Attacking tanks along the front, and that he hasn't produced an additional Vulture in the meantime to get more mines down. Xellos brilliantly blocking the ramp, just trying to create some delay time for some Vultures to get some more tanks out. Another DT headed down the way. I'm surprised that Xellos didn't have a second Vulture out already to really lay mines around to try to minimize this attack. He doesn't have that turret up either. Turret going to go down in the meantime, not going to go up. So Daezang actually getting a nice payoff with this Dark Templar. We'll see if this Dark Templar runs headlong into this mine in the meantime, though. But yeah, as you can see, his base getting kind of reeked. It looks like
somehow he's just avoiding like all the mines, like map hacks.
Brilliant, yeah, seriously, map hacks. Yeah, finally managed to take out that Dark Templar with that mine lane in the background, but in the meantime he's getting a lot. Wow, this is really effective for Daezang because he's gotten that Dark Templar harass up and done the fast expansion at the same time. Basically, he's had 2 units in there harassing and keeping Xellos on the defensive and disrupting his economy. Wow. This has been extremely effective.
Yeah, he definitely has done a lot of damage here, and it's amazing because I'm pretty sure Xellos had placed that mine that we saw, both of those DT skirting. I'm pretty sure he placed that mine at the position where your unit tracking would tell your units to go, but somehow Daezang had the forethought or just the luck to bring his units a little bit south of it and enter sort of from a left side. So just really lucky, or somehow psychic by him, managing to get that DT in when I thought it would have been impossible. And I agree with you that Daezang definitely has a lead now. He has 3 mining bases to 2 right now, and he's getting his 3rd gateway right now. Second machine shop going up for Xellos, but Xellos has lost, I think, at least 2 tanks and several SCVs during that attack, and of course his attention was drawn a little bit away from Macaroni, so we'll see if this makes a big difference here. Also, looks like missile turrets being built around the bases here. A lot of gateways going up for Daezang, so definitely getting his macro up, and command center going up for Xellos. I'm actually interested what the next plan of attack is. If Daezang's going to switch back to getting some shuttles, I did see observers out, so he could be going for that, and just, you know, not necessarily going for Reavers again, but just going for shuttles. Yeah, so I would give the lead to Daezang right now quite significantly, and I do think that Xellos is just unlucky this game so far, to be honest. I think there's a lot of luck there rather than anything else.
So it'll be interesting to see. As you can see, he's trying to expand right now, take an economic edge right as Daezang is starting to expand. Daezang already has some Templar out there. I think this is a critical juncture. Xellos is essentially relying on the fact that Daezang is not going to start pushing, that he's just going to macro up at this point, and that he'll be able to absorb an attack sometime in the future. Keeping in mind that Daezang now has essentially 6 gateways up. Looks like he's setting up for an additional expansion, so expanding extremely aggressively. Also going up for some storm drops, so doing some additional, 3 Templar in there alongside his Zealot. And this is going to be really effective because Xellos, instead of producing additional tanks, instead of producing additional troops, he went for an additional expansion. The question is can Daezang, with his incredible shuttle micro, get through those drop shuttles and expanding at the same time, so playing a very aggressive macro style. I think he would have been better suited. Obviously, you'd have to have been even more psychic to do this, but just push into Xellos at this point. But yeah, he's going to float right over these mines and probably gets a couple good suicide drops off. Let's see if he drops that Zealot and takes out that turret and just decides to come back. No, almost losing that shuttle there.
Oh wow, that would have been terrible.
That would have been like the game right there. Well, not the game, but in the meantime, though, at least Xellos is kind of camping back, and Daezang once again expanding, taking another advantage. And this is going to give Xellos an opportunity to start macroing up himself and start isolating, as you can see, getting units. And Daezang, I'm surprised he's pushing in once again, even though he's only got a little bit of health on that
shuttle. I hope he doesn't lose it. I hope he doesn't lose this. Very
close. Yeah, he's going to Psystorm blind on that ridge. Brilliant. getting a lot of SCVs
Good
there.
play there.
Yeah, let's see if he ended up losing a Templar right there and didn't get that. Ooh, losing more Templar. A little bit of a miscue there. He's going to be able to take on an additional tank, but disrupting, as you can see, that economic advantage that Xellos had for this brief time. And Daezang really playing this, I have to say, quite really well. Ton of tanks out in the front. Looks like Xellos, so what he's just planning to do is cap those 3 expansions, macro up, and then push into him. And Daezang, in the meantime, as you can see, sealing it off from vulture attacks. But I haven't seen, I've seen, what, 3 vultures in the meantime out from Xellos.
Yeah, that's actually, I was going to comment on that. Yeah, Xellos is not going for a vulture heavy game.
Yeah, he's just macroing straight tanks. In the meantime, I think he might be on the left. He's in a very good position. Daezang, in the meantime, it looks like he's going to tech probably to carriers, which is why he's one of the reasons he's probably expanding so aggressively. I'm surprised he actually didn't expand to the 12 o'clock going for that. Getting more gateways down, I actually take that back. Probably going to go for Arbiters, considering the amount of... yeah, interestingly enough, but now bringing his Dragoons back. But as you can see, Xellos, tanks upon tanks upon tanks. He's going to be in a good position to push into Daezang here in just a moment.
Yeah, I think Xellos just needs to macro out a couple of support units, just a couple of speed upgraded vultures, and he will be able to push into Daezang quite soon. But I have to say that that one little ledge drop there, with that, it looks like Arbiter Tribunal is going up. The storm drop from below the ledge is really Protoss's counter to the tanks that can be. I mean, Protoss can do those interesting storm drops from below the ledge. Is my point. I guess that's their thing that they can do on this map, whereas the Terran players can siege up that ledge also.
Whereas Zerg players are screwed. They can.
Yeah. Well, lurkers even perhaps.
They can lurkers, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They have to hug that wall pretty hard, and then they have to burrow all the way, and there's not really anything to support them along the side. Maybe I don't know. I'm a Zerg fan, so just getting bitter. Xellos, you can see, wow, so it looks like he's going to start producing Goliaths here in mass. He was expecting, I think, a carrier push here, but yeah, getting a ton, an absolute butt ton of factories down. It looks like pump a bunch of Goliaths in the meantime, and actually that might suit him well if there's only a single Arbiter that he's going to be facing across the board. But my guess is as soon as we see a good full control group of Goliaths, he's going to start pushing up. But he's getting way out macroed here by Daezang. If you look at the unit count in the bottom right hand corner, Daezang's at 148. Looked like Xellos was about 103. So Daezang in a very good position to do severe damage to Xellos if he decides to push out anytime in the near future. And isolating the bottom right hand of the map and putting down, it looks like the additional expansions there. So being extremely aggressive as far as his macro goes.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by Xellos at how non-aggressive he's been in this entire game. He seems to be satisfied with just sort of turtling and building a ton of tanks at his front door, but Xellos just needs to move out, I think, with more vultures and just get enough forces for him to move out. But Daezang may actually be walking into this. I'm not sure if this is the wisest of attacks here. Daezang going for an attack with all of his forces here, bringing in Zealots and Dragoons here straight into Xellos' line. This Silent Storm going off all over those tanks, so great Side Storms there, and more Side Storms going off here, and he actually might break this front door. I was just going to say that that Xellos' front door seemed unbreakable, but I think Xellos just lacked in support troops there. He really needed just more vultures, maybe even some Goliaths, but those tanks were all by themselves, and Daezang has managed to break through the front door. This is terrible news for Xellos. Without even needing the Arbiter, somehow he just manages to go in by brute force there, and I really think that Xellos just needed more tanks. I mean, sorry, more vultures, more mines, more of just support units. Wow, I'm just really surprised by that.
Ooh. As soon as this, I don't even know that support units would have helped at that unit count disadvantage. Now Xellos in even more of a hole, as you can see, 73 at 120 with reinforcements incoming. Wow, the mine's going off on the vultures yeah, trying to pull those SCVs back, trying to create some sort of perimeter, but is trying to hold that ramp and not able to. More Templar, more Zealots, more Dragoons pushing up. That tank at the mineral only expansion going down. Xellos has to GG here. His base is essentially breached, just getting completely out macroed by Daezang. And I think, yeah, it was kind of the case, is playing really passively straight from the beginning, and now trying to fend off, letting SCVs doing the fighting, and now you have an Arbiter out in the field. As soon as that Arbiter pushes up, I think he's going to be even more trouble. I don't think he has any detection out in the field, at least not at that location. Templar alongside, and just the reinforcements continuing to pour in. Oh, nice Side Storm over that SCVs.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you can see, the unit count at the bottom right hand corner, now 134 to 43. Xellos is completely asses at this point. Yeah, this is the not a good unit count. This is like me versus anyone else and Hike Up right now.
Yeah, I have to say the Side Storms were also quite incredible as he was walking into the front door there. He just moved in his Templar at the perfect time and got Side Storms off on just the bunches of tanks. I'm not sure if he would have been able to break in, or at least would have had so many units survive if he hadn't gotten those Side Storms off. And yeah, he had 12 dragoons left after that push. That was just amazing because usually, I mean, frontal charges like that. I was very surprised that he managed to win that. Just yeah.
Yeah, usually
I don't
when
see
you
what
see
Xellos
a,
can do at
a
this point.
Protoss player, going into a gap, I don't think he can do anything. Usually when you see Protoss players running into a small gap like that with siege tanks on the ridge and kind of clogging it up, you don't see the Protoss player coming out ahead, but just Daezang having so many units, having some beautiful storms, and Xellos having basically all of his tanks bunched up there, get just stormed all over the place, and Xellos getting eliminated again, which breaks my heart because I love that guy. That guy's so pimp.
But you can really see it in his face, his disappointment.
Yeah.
No, you can't actually. I was kidding. Xellos just has no facial expressions.
He's always like that. It's like, actually, I commented that with Moltrap. He's like, "Why do you like Xellos so much?" I'm like, "Watch him when he plays. It's always the exact same expression." It's the same reason I like. Why I'm blanking now. I was gonna say Much, but Much just looks pissed most of the time. No, I'm trying to think of it's some other player, but basically they always look. It's the exact same facial expression no matter what they're doing. Anyway, so Daezang, it looks like he's gonna. Yeah, he's gonna go to the final, and that's gonna be a fun game between him and C. And I think we're gonna have Moltrap joining us. I'll see if he's actually ready for that.
Yeah, good game here. I was just gonna say, someone had a great comment on one of the Much videos and said he looked like a coked up vampire. Much does kind of look like that. All right, that had nothing to do with this commentary.
35.
Yeah, that too. All right,
Anyway.
well, good game here. I have to say, just really surprised that Daezang managed to pull it off at the end, but just through almost brute force. But yeah, I'm a little sad that Xellos is eliminated, though. Xellos is one of my favorite Terran players, and so it's a little sad to see him go home so early. But it's exciting to see a member of Air Force Ace advance to the round of 16, or no, to advance to the final game to have a chance. Sorry about that.
Yeah, not in the round of 16 yet. Anyway, speaking of that game, moving on to it now, and I'll see if we can drag Moltrap along with us. Thanks for listening, guys.